It's a great pleasure to speak to M.I.A.'s fans, at least of the music. I've become a fan of M.I.A. Because I think she is the most courageous woman working in the West of music. Without exception. I only wish there was an exception, but as this evening shows tonight, she's a really very special person. Okay, so I understand we have about 10 minutes. Well, I was in New York not so long ago, back in 2010. Most of the time since I've been under house arrest for past in this embassy organization fights through the aftermath from ongoing staff implementation of publication. So I'm not there tonight. I can't be with you tonight. But there's some other people who come with you also in New York tonight. And that's Greenwald, who's within New York, can't be with you tonight. The journalist primarily behind the Edwards revelations. Or a waitress, another good friend of mine from New York, can't be there tonight. Why? Also, all Edward Snowden revelations. One of our people from the period, Jacob Applebaum, can't be with you in New York tonight. Last time he was in New York, he filled in for me something a little bit like this, not quite as good. And 6 Homeland Security agents turned up to arrest him. So why can't all these people be in New York tonight? Because your government sucks. Your government means that American journalists that are actually trying to do something really pretty significant, namely stop the United States and other countries along with it, turn into, yes, military dictatorship, slowly, inevitably, inexorably turn into a dictatorship. Well, they're in exile now. They've been pushed off to the four corners of the earth, into Rio, into Berlin, or appointed to me here, the Ecuadorian embassy in London, Edward Snowden in Moscow, Sarah Harrison, one of our people here from the UK, also pushed off into exile in Moscow. So you might think to yourself, well, what does that mean to me? It seems the only thing it means to me is, by God, you better be careful at trying to counteract pretty nasty tendencies that are developing in Western democracy. Because, you know, sooner or later, you're going to get it in the neck, and you might be lucky if you run to the four corners of the earth to escape. But I want to tell you, it's not quite like that, it's quite interesting. We all live our lives once, and how we live our lives becomes an expression of ourselves and develops our character. It's not a matter of doing great things like these before, but of trying and working out what your own strength is to try to acquire. M.I.A. has been doing that for at least, really for at least 10 years now, I think, and it's worked well. These other people involved in the drug that I mentioned, well, we're in a bit of a battle, but it's a very fun battle. It does mean anything to leave the country for a little while if you get to the level that they're working at, but otherwise it doesn't. So a lot of fear has been put about, even if it results of these revelations that we've spoken on. Some of that is realistic. M.I.A. saying back in 2010, a very prescient song, the message that the Google is that the iPhone is connected to the internet, is connected to Google, is connected to government. Well, it turns out she was right. We've all got these damn things. In fact, I can see them here on the screen, some of the light. You all have these things right next to you, on your body, physically coupled to you. What does it mean to be so coupled to that? Well, it means that you're becoming jacked in to the informational system of our developed civilization. So which way is it developing? All these things are reporting back your movements, your communications with your friends, etc., because these big corporations and institutions and Washington being corrupted by a certain inability to see themselves as part of this civilization we're in, realize a separate type of civilization. In effect, the civilization that we have all been developing together, this new internet civilization, where we're communicated our values to each other, and we've learned what we like, don't like in the world, what is the right way to be and to not be. They want to separate themselves away from this into an untouchable place, and at the same time occupy cyberspace, occupy the space that we've developed together. That is a military occupation of cyberspace. Sounds extreme, but think about it, it's right. A military occupation of cyberspace, which is also a military occupation of our primary civilian communication space. Imagine if we could go back, we look back the past 500 years, since the Gutenberg printing press was invented. Imagine if books were reporting back to Rome, or back to London, or back to Washington, every single time the person, the papers, and pen. Imagine what kind of world we would live if books recorded on the readers. Well, now the National Security Agency and GCHQ, this mesh that is developed in the Western world, is doing just that. Every web page you read, every SMS you send, with intimate communication with Facebook, with friends, these are all being reported back to that interconnected power network, which thinks itself above all past. So I want you to pause for a moment and take that understanding very seriously about, well, how would the world develop the past 500 years if books did that? And then imagine it would not be books, but letters, and even your pen, and the whispers that you had to your closest neighbours, if all of those reported themselves back to Rome, how would the world have thought and gone? We've got to stop that, and we can stop that. We are stopping that, and the fact that communication even now is possible is a reflection of how we can stop that. Back in 2010, the Pentagon said, let's destroy everything we have, destroy everything we were going to publish. And yet it lost. We didn't destroy a single thing that we published. We didn't destroy a single thing that we were going to publish. We fought hard. What they defined as battle, they lost. Similarly with Edward Snowden in Hong Kong. When he got to Hong Kong, there was a worldwide manhunt only 4 months ago. Our people went in and extracted him from Hong Kong and got him asylum. The greatest intelligent manhunt that has ever existed. Why in both these cases did these groups who want to see themselves as above us, part of a different world, why were they unable to succeed? Because they're stupid, they're ill-motivated, they don't really care. They don't even believe in this stuff themselves. And so when you really care, and you are really motivated, and when you believe in fighting the good fight, well, you fight hard, you fight to win, and you dream of your next move, and you see others who can stand with you in solidarity. And that's why a small organisation where we're able to defeat all this. But it's not just us, there's a lot of people standing in solidarity with us. And I want to say to you something that I've said to some people a long time ago in Malaysia. So it's not widely reported. You are all in the process of picking where you can exist in society. And I'm not saying you should avoid working for visible, or you should avoid working for government, you should avoid the CIA or work for the National Security Agency or its equivalents in other states. What I'm telling you now is to take understanding that we have developed, all of us, together on the internet, about how the world should work, how rights should be. And I want you to go into those organizations. Get into those organizations. Get into the ballpark and get the ball and bring it out and show the ball. And with that, I'm sure I've scandalized almost everyone there, which I'm very happy to do. I hope you enjoy the show with M.I.A.